Hello everyone, and thank you very much for clicking on my video. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so, and please give the video a like if you like it. Firstly, let me start by saying I've labelled this, or I did label a previous video, which is this one. I'd uploaded it without any sound, saying it was the 1080p 4K bits of footage. It actually isn't. I do all the editing on my phone, and it is an old one, and I don't have enough memory, so when I use the video maker, it actually reduces them down because I don't have enough space to actually upload them in 4K or 10. Well, this is 1080p, but it's only very low resolution 1080p, which looks terrible. On the phone, it looks absolutely brilliant when you watch it through, but not when I'm uploading it, so I need to get in the laptop. So basically, I bought this holystone 720E drone, and it arrived last Friday. It is now April the 29th, and it arrived on the 22nd. So I charged the batteries, watched a million videos on how you calibrate and everything. I won't go into all that. There's plenty of videos out there that you can watch to find out how you do that. But obviously, I'm a beginner. This is my very first drone. So I charged the batteries up and I took it out on the Sunday to a scrubland, very much like what you're seeing in this video. Except it is surrounded by car dealerships and offices. But it's still a big open area. So on the Sunday, me and the wife went down and calibrated it, did everything we have to do, did the one-touch takeoff, and it took off, and then I started flying it, and it was brilliant. We spent an hour down there flying it, did everything that it was supposed to do, it responded. So I then returned on my own on the Monday, the following day, to the same place, did all the calibrations, took the drone off, and it started to circle a little bit on its own, and then it started circling bigger, and then it started climbing, and it wouldn't respond to anything. Frantically pressing the return to home key, moving the joysticks down, etc., trying to bring it. It didn't. Anyway, long story short, it climbed, and it flew off into the distance, and basically I lost all signal, everything. So obviously then my heart sank. I thought, oh, I've only had it a day. It's had one flight and it's gone ballistic for no reason. Or should I say, no reason that I knew about. So I eventually found the drone up in a tree, and luckily I'd only lost one set of propellers. So I brought it home, put new propellers on it, got in touch with Holystone, said, look, this drone, it's got a mind of its own, it's doing what it wants. I sent them the video footage that I took, and they replied, and basically all those offices and car dealerships that were closed on the Sunday were all open on the Monday. So when I connected to the Holystone internet, connect to the drone, I did notice that there was about 40 or 50 of the Wi-Fi networks available, which weren't when I did it on the Sunday. Obviously, the offices is opened, everybody's using the routers and everything. So basically, Wi-Fi transmits on the same frequency that the drone uses, which is between 2.4 gigahertz, I think it's 2.4, and 5 gigahertz. So all that noise interference just basically sent the drone loopy, and off it went. But I was very, very glad that I found it. So the Holystone suggested that I go and try somewhere else that wouldn't have so many offices and everybody using routers and Wi-Fi's and everything. So I did, and guess what? It flew perfectly. But what I have learned is that your best thing to do after you've calibrated and everything is to take it up on that takeoff, maybe take it a foot higher, and then just stand and watch it for at least 30 seconds to make sure it doesn't start circling on its own and going out of control. Because then at least you're at a level where you can safely bring it back down or whatever, and you're not going to just whiz off up into the air, and you can bring it back to earth, switch everything off, recalibrate, send it up again, and then see if it stays steady, which happened to me today on the land that you're looking at the moment. So I got there, set it all up, calibrated it, took it off to eye level, a little bit higher, and then it slowly started to make a circle, and then it was starting to, well, you'll know it started to circle, and I thought, no, that's not right. Brought it back down, landed it, recalibrated it, took it back up again, and it held steady. They'll never hold perfectly steady at sort of 5 foot because you've got downwash from the props, and that downwash hits the ground, goes back up underneath the drone, and you will get a slight little bit of movement, but you won't get those wide circles that happens when there's something seriously wrong. So yeah, so it's working perfectly. So I'm just getting used to the controls, like what makes it go up, what brings it down, and the other one up and down, and the yaw, and the side to side, and the actual turning the actual drone round. So it's still a big learning curve for me. So, but so far I'm happy, very, very happy with the drone and the results. And luckily we've had a lovely day today. So it's been great. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to consider when you sometimes think it's the drone that's at fault. It actually isn't. When you calibrate, you get the lights that, if you watch videos, it'll show you the lights will go flashy to solid red and solid green at the bottom, which will mean your drone's calibrated. But what I didn't realise is that your hand unit, your control unit itself, will pick up maybe 19 satellites. You want to be well into double figures anyway to be perfectly safe. It says 7, but go well into, I'd wait for it to go at least 16, 17 satellites. But what you will notice is I think the controller actually picks up the satellites before the drone does. Now, those back lights that turn green, they'll go like a yellow or very light green, and that means that the drone has got a very weak sat nav GPS signal. So if you're straight and say, oh yeah, I've got 20 satellites, go straight up with the drone. The drone may not have picked them up yet. So just give it a minute and just have a quick look, make sure that them lights haven't changed from the solid green to like a lemony yellow, light green colour. If they're still solid after a second or so and you're reading the satellites, then you're good to go. Because I think today what happened with me, those lights were still amber, but my controller said that there was 20 satellites picked up, but the drone still hadn't picked them up. So in that few seconds that I'd took off, the drone still hadn't picked the sats up properly. So that's why it went a bit crazy and I brought it back down. Then the second time I waited longer, checked the lights, and they were all solid even after a minute. So then I took off and it was perfectly fine. Like I say, I'm no expert. I'm just guessing that that's what some of the issues are. Yeah, so it all went good. And also I would suggest that you download this app. Well, there's a few apps like Drone Friend or whatever. They'll give you an air map of the area and it'll tell you which areas or not you can and can't fly your drone. Because I was surprised at my local airport, the restriction area for that complete red zone goes out a lot further than I actually imagined. It probably goes out maybe 7 or 8 miles in a circumference. So it's definitely worth getting that. And also, don't forget that if your drone is over 250 grams, that you do have to apply for an operator's licence, which I have done. It's a dead easy thing, quick test online, 40 questions. And you also need that for your fly. If you've got a camera on a drone, even if it's under 250 grams, you still require a flying licence, which is free. That doesn't cost you anything. But you can do the test. It's 40 questions, and you can have the answers tab open, which is crazy. It even tells you that on the thing, in the UK anyway, and just answer the questions. And at the end, it'll give you a pass mark, and you can retake the test as many times as you want, as often as you like, until you pass. And that'll give you your fly's licence and the flyer ID number. But then if your drone is over 250 grams, you need the operator's licence. You don't have to take that test again because you've already took it. You just apply for the operator's licence and it costs £10, and they will send you an operator ID, and then you must have that printed off or whatever and put it on your drone. It must be displayed visibly on your drone, your operators. Only if it's over 250 grams though. You don't require that operator's ID if your drone is under 250 grams. But if your drone is under 250 grams and has a camera on it, you still require, by law, the flyer ID, which is free. You just take the test, you pass the test, and they'll email you your ID. It's like it sort of looks like a little driving license, and you can print that off and laminate it, whatever, carry it on, or you can just have it on your phone. And if anybody has to see it, you just pop that up and show them it. Anyway, excuse me for coughing. Time to go. This is the second time, so the video quality on this looks pants, to be honest. But trust me, on the phone where it's reading the sort of even the 1080p, it looks fantastic. So yeah, right. So really, a lot of these are just to, as I've made a little playlist. They're all in there, but they're private at the moment because these videos I'm doing with the drone are really just to track my progress and see how I progress along and how much better or how much worse I get. So that's about it from me. Thanks for listening to me babble on as you've been watching this pants footage. But yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.